Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe now this start video. The first time Mark sensed the weariness, it felt like a gradual draining of the power from his life. It wasn't sudden, no collapsing or blackouts, but a quiet depletion of strength that had him reaching rehearsals early and departing late, only to find himself perched on the curb outside the studio, hands on his knees, questioning when he'd turned into someone who could be exhausted on a Tuesday. He had perpetually been a man of action. His existence composed of sets and stages, appointments and due dates, joy in the kitchen, and 1,000 small routines that sustained his family. Kelly flowed around him like a gentle tide, serving as both navigational chart and sanctuary. They had endured the media cycles and the tabloids together, managing personal sorrows behind closed doors, building a public image that was equal parts comedic instinct and hard-won affection. Their household ran on humor and coffee and the unique short earth of two people who had learned each other's rhythms. So when Mark admitted to Kelly that he'd been feeling unwell for weeks, she listened in the way people who love each other do, with an attention that both eased his defenses and grounded him. They sat at their kitchen island, sunlight gathering on the butcher block, and he attempted to make a joke the way he always did, the kind that transforms danger into softer forms. Kelly's laughter was quiet at first, then sure. She leaned in, elbows on the counter, and adopted a serious demeanor in a world day. Both counted on not to be serious. "You're going to get this looked at," she said plainly. He resented that she could make choices for him that he couldn't make for himself. But the reality of it was he no longer wanted to run from the possibility that something might be wrong. The initial round of tests came back inconclusive. A hint here, a concerning figure there, and the physicians recommended more. The waiting areas of the medical center merged into one another. Magazines more dated than their grandchildren's first photos, vending machines, emitting a kind of apathetic lullaby. The specialist, who eventually sat opposite Mark, had a calm, unclenched voice. He detailed probabilities, scans, and biopsies with the rehearsed objectivity of someone whose profession it was to deliver bad news as gently as a person might break an egg. When the diagnosis was delivered, it landed like a forecast, clinical, factual, and somehow stunning in its cruelty. They gave him a label for the thing that had been robbing him of his mornings. The word itself was a dense weight in his mouth, an unfamiliar burden, as if he had swallowed a rock. It did not characterize him in the ways people sometimes assumed illness did. It did not make him pitiful or pious, and yet it altered everything. Conversations they had once taken for granted now required careful handling. Their children's voices held new tones of concern. Schedules were reorganized with a new solemnity. Kelly was both a force and a refuge. She sprang into action, learning the language of medicine and the way she once learned scripts. Quickly, with concentration and with an unwavering eye for how to make complex things feel simpler for the people she loved. She devoured journals, scoured late-night forums, jotted down notes during appointments, and asked the kind of questions that made clinicians pause and provide fuller responses. But she also stayed awake until the house was quiet, and simply sat with him. No words often, just a presence that felt like a grounding force. On the nights when sleep eluded them both, she would place a hand on his chest and trace the old familiar patterns of tattoos as if recharting him. In those small gestures, there was a determination not to let the sickness become a solitary thing. It would be woven into the fabric of their daily existence, not permitted to unravel it. Public life, however, has its own pull. Speculation and curiosity are forces that thrive on silence. The couple had practiced for years how to maintain a private life in public view. Now they were practicing a different routine. What to reveal, how much, and when. Their agents and public relations advisors offered options with crisp professionalism. A statement framed as advocacy, a plea for privacy, strategic leaks to control the narrative. Mark and Kelly did not want to be the subject of clickbait or whispered pity. Neither of them wanted to use the diagnosis against the relentless news cycle. They chose a careful path, candor without melodrama.